Right. So, this happened, 5 days ago? Yes, 5 days ago. California sues Catholic hospital for denying emergency abortion. Now, just based on that headline, can we stop with this idea that people who are against abortion are pro-life? Because I get it, you're against abortion, fine. But your job is healthcare. Nobody who needs an emergency healthcare should be denied simply because you think something is icky. If you do that, maybe find a different job. So I can understand if it's not an emergency, but let's just stop pretending that people who are against abortion are pro-life. Because you know what? People who are pro-choice don't like abortion either. They just understand that, shit happens, and they're not going to tell other people how to live their lives. But anyway, let's get to the article. California's Attorney General on Monday sued a Catholic hospital accused of refusing to provide an emergency abortion in February to a woman whose water broke prematurely, putting her at risk of potentially life-threatening infection and hemorrhage. So again, not pro-life, because, why, how can you call yourself pro-life if you have no problem with killing a mother, potential mother, because I don't know if this woman had kids already, but you're putting her in danger. You're putting her life in danger. How is that pro-life? It's not. So that's why I've been resorting to calling people on that side of the aisle either anti-choice or more to the point, pro-forced birth. Because what the hell? Democratic Attorney General Rob Bonta accused Providence St. Joseph Hospital in Eureka of discriminating against pregnant patients and violating the state's law requiring hospitals to provide necessary emergency care. And that is the other problem. I realize we have a separation of church and state, but it gets a little iffy when the church decides to provide services to the public. Not just services to their parishioners, but to the public. So if you're going to be a public institution, you gotta follow anti-discrimination laws. You just have to. The lawsuit filed in Humboldt County Superior Court seeks a court order to stop the hospital from denying medically necessary abortions in the future, as well as civil penalties. Providence is deeply committed to the health and wellness of women and pregnant patients and provides emergency services to all who walk through our doors in accordance with state and federal law, a Providence spokesperson said in an email, adding that the hospital was reviewing the lawsuit. We are heartbroken over Dr. Newslock's experience earlier this year. Yeah, we do everything in accordance with the law except for things we don't like. But anyway, the woman, chiropractor Anna Newslock. Okay, my sympathy is dwindling a little. Was driven to another hospital 12 miles or 19 kilometers away and was dangerously hemorrhaging by the time she reached the operating table, according to the lawsuit. Are you kidding me? When someone is in that situation, every minute counts, and she has to go 12 miles to another hospital? And it's not just drive there. You have to get in the car, get out of the car, get to the Get inside the hospital. Explain what's happening. It's not like, boom, you're there. Nuslock, who is pregnant with twins, said at a press conference on Monday that doctors at Providence agreed that she needed an abortion to avoid life-threatening complications. Okay, that's even more cruel. You need an abortion, but we're not going to provide it. Are you kidding? However, doctors said that they could not provide one because of the Catholic-affiliated hospitals' policy prohibiting any intervention while they could hear fetal heart tones, unless her life was in immediate danger, Nuslock added. Sounds like her life was in immediate danger. And the fact that women are even put in that position where, unless she's literally dying on the table, that doctors are afraid to do anything is just horrible. It's nice to know that these doctors aren't being cruel and saying, yeah, you need an abortion, but we can't provide it. At least they understood that it's not that they didn't want to, but they couldn't. So at least they weren't terribly teasing her, so that's good. Before she left for nearby Mad River Community Hospital, a nurse gave her a bucket full of towels in case something happens in the car, Nuslock said. The hospital's policy inflicted on me needless protracted pain, bleeding, and trauma, Nuslock added. That is just so sad, and, I think it's cruel. Now, granted, the staff was in a bind. Do we violate the hospital's policies, or do we give this woman an abortion? Now, this is not a hospital where there's an abortion ban. California does not have an abortion ban because California isn't inherently cruel. This hospital, however, that staff, okay, what would happen? They might lose their jobs. At the worst. So how about, just doing what they thought was best instead of, being afraid of the hospital? Because it's one thing to be threatened with jail time, but the worst this Catholic hospital could do to these people is fire them. And that is a small price to pay, because if these doctors are that good, and actually considering the shortage in medical care, especially for nurses, I would think they would have no problem finding another job. So yeah, this isn't even a matter of, it's my life or hers. It's not even that. Technically, because you might lose your job, but at the same time, maybe the hospital wouldn't have. Maybe they would have reviewed the case and seen that, yeah, there was no choice. In which case, they would have been cool with it and, let the ethics committee take care of it instead of assuming, in this case, because the worst that could happen is you could lose your job. It's not like those states with abortion bans where you could end up in jail. So, let's see. Bonta said Nuslock's ordeal was reminiscent of women's experiences in Republican-led states where abortion is banned. In California, Bonta added, the law is clear that hospitals must provide an abortion if it is medically necessary. Now, it doesn't say just public hospitals. Privately owned hospitals, all hospitals. It just says hospitals. So the fact that this is a Catholic-run hospital, again, the worst that could happen is these people would lose their jobs. Now, whether they could be sued, whether they could sue the hospital then to get their jobs back because, dude, there's a law. I don't know. But that sounds like it would be easier than just, saying, sorry, you need an abortion, but we can't help you. Because, again, policy, you get fired. You violate the law, and something much worse can happen. So, again, I feel for the doctors who are put in that position, but if they're worth their salt, they could find another job. Easily find another job. Anyway, we need hospitals to follow the law at the bare minimum, Bonta said. That is not too much to ask. If you are a human being, you can see how cruel this was. And see, that's the kicker. A lot of these people who are against abortion aren't human beings. Because if they were, they would see the cruelty and, say, screw it and help the woman out. Especially, again, when the worst that could happen is you could lose your job. Because I can't imagine that a public-facing hospital in California would look at that and say, oh, well, you violated policy. Sorry, we can't hire you. When they find out why you violated policy, they would be like, oh, well, you did the right thing. So, anyway. The case is the latest in a series of legal battles over emergency abortion in the wake of the U.S. Supreme Court's 2022 ruling that allowed states to ban the procedure. For example, a Kansas woman in July sued the University of Kansas health system for refusing to give her a medically necessary abortion in 2022. The case is pending. The U.S. Supreme Court in June upheld a lower court's ruling that federal law on emergency care overrides Idaho's near total abortion ban in medical emergencies, but litigation of the issue is expected to continue. So, yeah, it's great that the Supreme Court upheld that federal law supersedes state law, but you could have saved yourself a lot of trouble by, not overturning Roe. That would have been great. Of course, we shouldn't have to codify abortion into law because it's healthcare and no other procedures are codified. You don't see a codification of an appendix removal. You don't have one of removing of a gallbladder. You literally do not have any other medical procedure codified into the Constitution except for frickin' abortion. All because some people find it icky. You know who else finds it icky? The people who have to go through it. I mean, I don't care what the circumstances is. Nobody goes into an abortion going, doop-de-doo, I get to have an abortion today. No, that is not it. I mean, people who might have had complicated pregnancies and possibly a miscarriage and finding out that, yeah, this is going to be the case every time you get pregnant, maybe they'll be relieved to be able to have an abortion and so they don't have to go through that hell again. But to actually actively desire an abortion, no, that's not a thing that happens. No, that doesn't happen. So anyway, that is the end of that article. So with that, I will see you guys in the next video.